Adam Fantilli, a player with 0 NHL games played.
Yeah, so it's very interesting. I was curious if I was on an island with my rank of Adam Fantilli as 143rd overall. I looked at NHL.com, our buddy Pete Jensen, friend of the show, their rankings over there, and they don't even have him at all in their top 250. So I guess I really am. This is a true hot take. But at the draft, we were there after the pick. I went over to Jarmo Kekalainen, GM. I asked him about the pick and whether they expect at the time he hadn't turned pro yet, but what they expected of him. And Yarmo said, this guy is going to play in our top six. We're not going to be bringing him in to play on the fourth line. So he pretty much guaranteed that we're going to see Fantilli in a scoring line role. That means all he has to do is beat out Boone Jenner, who's a solid player, but he's not an elite talent, for the right to play with Johnny Gaudreau and Patrick Laine. And even if he doesn't, maybe he's going to play with his old Michigan buddy, Kent Johnson. And I just think people overlook how good of a prospect Adam Fantilli is. I know you don't, Stephen, but to me, even though he went third overall, I see a big comparison in 2015 with Jack Eichel, who in many other years would have been the top pick. I think Adam Fantilli would have been the top pick in many other drafts as well. He's a really talented offensive player, can do it all at both ends of the ice. I think he's going to be pro ready, his style of play. And I think he's going to be at least a 60-point player as a rookie. I really do. So 143rd, I don't think it's too much of a stretch.
Yeah, a couple things I'll add to him there. It's watching the World Championship and watching him try to adjust to that the men playing against men, playing against pro pace. He definitely did struggle at points, but that second half of the tournament, I thought he looked really good. And it was when he was moved off the top, I think it was the first or second line, he got moved to the 13th forward, where he actually started to really shine. It was kind of like, okay, prove yourself here. Go show what you're capable of here. Like, we have an extra roster spot. We can call someone else up instead. And I thought that's when he started to really kind of show through. And I don't expect him to get a ton of points. I think, if he gets 35 points, to me, that's still a success as long as he's playing a full year because, while I do expect a better season for Columbus, it's still the Columbus Blue Jackets. They're still not the highest scoring team on the planet. They're still going to have some issues in net, I would have to assume. So it's not going to be a super easy season. But I do think that this is a guy that's going to be a really nice long term get. So I guess the watching him, like, I feel like he's getting underrated when we just looked at the guy who had one of the greatest freshman seasons in the history of college hockey. And you mentioned back in the old days when the goalies barely like were there, they were kind of just a suggestion more than an actual like position in hockey. When guys like Paul Correa were scoring all those points in the NCAA, that was the same thing, except the goalies were even worse. So, I think we can't take in like for granted just how good of a season he had there. So yeah, I'm excited to see what he's able to do. It wouldn't have hurt if he spent one more year in college and try to chase that national title. Him, Frankie Nazar, that'd be an unbelievable one too. But the Blue Jackets are going to be okay with having him there, I'd say.